Uprooted Theatrical Studios presents.
It's 10 Tips Tuesday.
All right. Hey, everyone. So I believe a couple weeks ago, I talked to you guys about 2 tips on how to prep on getting an apprenticeship. And today I want to talk to you guys about tips on important things and lessons you can learn from an apprenticeship and how it can help you in your career. So tip number 1 I have for you is when you are in apprenticeship, a lot of the times you're working in the children's theater section. That's a lot of times what apprenticeships are geared toward, is doing children's theater. Not all of them, but some. But specifically mine, I worked in children's theater and touring children's theater. So I would go around to different venues, to schools, events, whatever, churches. It would be a whole different things, and we would perform these shows. So one of the main tips I would give to you is take advantage of learning how to adapt to different spaces. Is one of the important things I learned. You're going to block a show, but this blocking is not permanent, because you can go to, like, you have this rehearsal room and like you have all this space to move around in, but then you could be going into a space that is like this big. Okay, not really this big, but you get what I mean. And you have to rework the blocking and making sure the show works in that space. So you get to learn to adapt to different spaces and how to get creative in that area. So it's a great thing to learn and something to have in your back pocket, because you never know when you're going to need it. Another thing I really found important learning from my apprenticeship was playing to children. I have actually done children's theater before. I did it my freshman year of college. But I would tell everybody to take advantage of learning how to do children's theater. Because children are some of the hardest audiences you're ever going to have, because they're brutally honest. They do not hold back on how they feel about you or your acting or your character. I believe I've gotten booed before. My character did something and I had a little child go, "Bill!" It was hilarious. But you have to learn to play to children and get them interacted and have them find ways that it's going to engage them. Because you still have to, even though like you play your characters a little bit up, you still got to have that honesty and believability for the children to believe that you're in this story. So that's another important thing I learned from my apprenticeship. The next thing I really learned was take advantage of those times you get to learn from the higher ups and the people who have been in this industry for a really long time. I had coffee with several different people in the industry who have been actors. One is a professional dialect coach. One was a director. So take a time, to learn from those people and like just be like, "Hey, can we go get coffee for a little bit?" And you do, and you just ask them questions and you get to learn from them, their mistakes and the things that they have found that work for them, that maybe work for you. So take advantages of those times with those professionals that you're working with. Another thing I would tell you is sleep. I would tell you to have an organized schedule. Because I was touring, there was times where I was getting up at 3:45 a.m. because I had to be at a booking. So I would get myself ready. I would drive to where our rehearsal space was. We would hop in a van. We would pack up the van, hop in a van, and we would drive to our destination where the venue is. And the venue could be 2 hours away. It could be 30 minutes away. It really just varied. So I would tell you to get yourself on a schedule and make sure you get sleep, because I pulled several 12-hour days. I think the longest day I ever had was a 15-hour day, and that was a really long day. But yeah, no, take advantage of making sure you get enough sleep. So get on that schedule. And the final thing I have for you, that thing I learned from my apprenticeship, is making sure that you get to know the people you're working with. Those people are going to be people that impact your lives. I still stay in touch with several of the other apprentices that I worked with, and those bonds are amazing and they're impactful. So take advantage of that. The people hopefully I will get to work with later on. I hope these tips help for you guys. I love talking about this, so if you want more information, just reach out to me. I'd be happy to answer you guys. Now I'm gonna go, but love you all, and hopefully apply for those apprenticeships and learn what you can. Bye guys.
Hi guys, it's Reilly, and I'm super excited to be back for another 10 Tips Tuesday. Last time I talked about the ways that I helped get myself an apprenticeship, or ways that I found to be helpful for me. And today I'm going to be talking about two things that I learned during my time at Florida Studio Theater in Sarasota, Florida. The first, I definitely will say, is networking. The importance of networking, the wonderful opportunity that it provides. And I don't mean like networking in the sense that like you're like schmoozing and just like trying to get as many names as you can, but like truthfully like working and collaborating with other people and getting exposed to artists from different walks of life. I'd never seen professional cabaret artists before FST, but they have a wonderful cabaret program, and I was super excited to watch how those were not only developed by FST's literary and artistic teams, but how actors came in and made it their own. I loved getting to work with the apprentice mentors, Jason and Caroline. They were always there to answer questions, give professional advice, personal advice, write letters of recommendation, guide you in auditions, give feedback. I really loved working with my fellow group of apprentices and interns. It was such a wonderful and unique experience to enter my first professional job with a group of people that were just like me, in the sense that they were passionate and curious and dedicated and just wanting to work together to create art and learn more. And I am so lucky that I got to meet all of these wonderful people, and that I know that I will do all that I can to work with them again or support them in their art, and I know that they'll do the same for me. And yeah, networking for sure. I'm super lucky for the friends that I made, the connections that I made, the lessons that I learned, and just like the difference that it made. Is college was wonderful, and I'm so lucky for all those connections, but now I have an even wider net of people that I can learn from and create with. And yeah, it was just super, super fun and diverse and new, which was great. And then second would be the incredibly important art of time management and self-discipline. I'll be the first to say that that is not my strong suit, and it definitely was not my strong suit during college, or probably the first like half of my apprenticeship. But I definitely think that that is something I took from FST, and that has changed the way that I approach my day-to-day life as a professional and as a person. I was super lucky that one of my mentors was pretty detail-oriented and was constantly encouraging me to do my best to set daily small goals to achieve, and recognize that I can set my schedule to be not only super successful and super productive, but equally as fulfilling and as like careful with myself as an artist and as a human. I tend to either go really hard in one direction and say like, I'm gonna work until I fall over, or I kind of procrastinate until the last minute. And so working at FST and working in a professional theater company with a lot of different things moving, 5 different spaces, going on tour, auditioning, understudying, things like that, the art and importance of time management and self-discipline really just became something that I couldn't kind of fly by the seat of my pants with anymore. So I really got dedicated to my planner and timing things out and routines, and honoring what my body needed when it needed it, making sure that I went out of my way to plan to have meals, or plan to have time to rest, or plan to work out, so that I knew that I was taking care of my body as much as I was taking care of my job, and things like that. So it's hard, but so worth it. And anyone who's super type A and already is good at this, kudos to you. I wish I would have started when I was like 6, but FST really did teach me a lot about time management and the importance of balancing being 100% on top of everything all the time, work-wise, and 100% on top of your personal life all the time, and like honoring the balance between the two. I hope that makes sense, but yeah, time management, networking, and I'm gonna throw in a third one, just being super grateful for the opportunities that we had. Leaving FST during coronavirus was hard and scary, and we were sad about the shows that we didn't get to do. But I'm so thankful for the shows that I did get to do, and the people that I did get to meet, and the kids that I got to work with. And yeah, so I snuck in a third one, sorry. But if anybody also, of course, has any questions, I am happy to answer. But I hope you all stay safe and well. Enjoy the first little inklings of summer. And yeah, thank you guys.
Hi, my name is Alex Drennan, and I am a recent graduate of Belmont University's Department of Theater and Dance. I graduated in May 2019 with a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater Performance, and I'm currently working at Florida Studio Theater in Sarasota, Florida, where I am their playwriting fellow as well as their head sketch writer. And Madison Bailey and Rachel Mackall have asked me to come up with 3 tips on what I've learned from my apprenticeship, and 3 tips on sort of tips that I think I can impart to others to get the most out of their apprenticeship and internship. So, full disclosure, I'm still in the middle of my apprenticeship. I was asked in February to stay on for another year as their playwriting fellow, to which I accepted. So I'm still kind of learning tips about how best to navigate apprenticeships, navigate the internship, and get the best out of it in both an artistic sense and a business sense. But my first tip is always be prepared. I'm always taking notes. I'm always sort of, if I'm not dealing with a specific project of my own, I'm kind of asking and getting information on other people's projects, not because I'm trying to house of cards their projects, but just because I like to kind of stay in the know, and I think that a good office runs on people being prepared. That way, if someone gets sick, or if someone has to go home, or if any myriad of things happens, they have someone that's done the research, that knows the project, and is prepared to take on that skill and project. I found that being prepared is probably one of the most important things in the runnings of a literary office. Now, what the literary office does at Florida Studio Theater is we reach out to playwrights from across the country, we talk to agents, and we solicit plays, and we solicit works that we feel would best incorporate our mission at Florida Studio Theater. And so being prepared and knowing what each play is, and knowing who the agents are, and knowing how they interact, and knowing even how they speak in email form, being prepared and knowing and doing the research is something that I have really, really found very valuable in my time as an intern, and now shifting into my apprenticeship. Which goes into my second tip, which is take every opportunity to learn. This year, Florida Studio Theater is spearheading a massive event called the Suffragist Project, which is a year-long event with more than 55 organizations within Sarasota and Manatee County, to honor and respect the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment in 1920, giving women the right to vote. So what we've been doing over the past year is we have been reaching out to organizations and trying to see what kind of artistic opportunities are there to collaborate on, and to give a voice to, and to help produce in some way, shape, or form. And I was given the opportunity to shadow as well as take notes and learn and follow the assistant director of that project. Due to COVID-19, a lot of our staffing has been sort of thrown up in the air, and a lot of our projects have been sort of they've been given to other teams or other departments. But I have been given the opportunity to be the assistant director for the Suffragist Project up until the culmination on August 20th of this year. And so if I hadn't learned the opportunity, and I hadn't been prepared, and I hadn't been always learning from whatever situation there is, I don't think that I would be able to spearhead that project and really do the best that I can to honor the incredible sacrifice that these women went through 100 years ago, and some are still fighting today. So I think that taking every opportunity to learn, even if you think, this isn't really my cup of tea, this isn't really what I want to be focusing on, I think is really, really valuable and very, very helpful to a budding artist and someone who wants to do well, and who wants to get the most out of their apprenticeship and let people see that, you know, you're willing to go that extra step, you're willing to go that extra mile, even if it's just taking notes for an hour or two in a meeting over Zoom nowadays. That really shows people that you're willing to take every opportunity to learn and to grow, and you're going to get a lot out of that in the long run. But kind of all this culminating to my third tip, which is keeping a healthy, I won't say strict, but healthy work-life balance. I think it's very important to keep a balance between your work life and your personal life. I know a lot of people that don't respond to emails after 6 p.m. I know a lot of people that are always checking their emails or always doing projects after. In both of those cases, I think that that's probably more harmful than helpful. In order to be a well-rounded theater administrator as well as a theater artist, you have to be able to separate your projects from your personal life, because you are your own person without work. You know, you are your own person with needs and wants, and taking time for yourself is nothing to be ashamed of or feel guilty about. Within the first couple months I was here, I did kind of feel a little bit guilty of like, well, I have all this other stuff to do, but I'm at the beach right now, or I'm reading and drinking coffee in the afternoon, or something like that. And what I've found within the last couple months, especially with all the things that are happening right now in the world, is taking that time for yourself is not only beneficial to your own mental health, but also beneficial to your work health. And what I mean by work health is it gives you a respite from sort of all of these different things always coming at you. You know, if you've got multiple projects going on at different times with multiple deadlines, having time for yourself is very, very healthy in managing that. And then when you come to the office the next day, or you go to rehearsal the next day, you know that you are 100% mentally there, and you are better equipped to handle that day's projects, that day's deadlines, or even that day's issues that may come up in the moment and being in the spur of the moment. And maintaining that work-life balance is incredibly key. Out of these 3 tips, I think I'm still working on that one the most, and that's the one I intend to keep working on. But that is one of the most important tips I can give, is making sure that you have a personal life and making sure that you have a work life, because the two are great when they meet, but sometimes they can kind of leech off of each other. which isn't very healthy to anyone, really. So those are my 3 tips for getting the most out of your apprenticeship or internship. I want to thank Madison Bailey and Rachel Mackall for asking me to do this again. I think this is, again, a really great idea. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Again, my name is Alex Drennan. If you don't know me, you can find me on Facebook or Instagram or anything like that. Thank you guys, and I hope everyone's staying safe and healthy. Bye.
Hi, it's me again, Sofia, and I am here to talk to you about 2 things I learned at my apprenticeship in Riverside Theater in Vero Beach. And this is great. I learned so much, so narrowing it down to 2 was definitely difficult for me. But my first one, I will say, I learned that it's really important to put yourself out there and do something that scares you. My very first week there, we were breaking up who was going to direct or choreograph what for Madagascar Jr., which, if you don't know that that's a musical, you have to look it up because it is straight fire. But everybody was picking things that they wanted to choreograph. Oh, and I'll have you know, the other 3 apprentices, it was me and 3 other apprentices, and they were all musical theater majors, and I was not a musical theater major, but they all wanted to choreograph stuff, and I was like, I would love to choreograph something, but I really don't think I know how. And so one of my coworkers and I teamed up and did it together, and then after that, I spent the rest of the year, doing stuff in pairs, but also being able to choreograph on my own. And I think I attribute a lot of that to taking Anna Perry's theater dance style class, which really helped me kind of know different forms of dance. And I mean, I have danced in the past, and so to be able to have that faith in myself and kind of just go for it, because it was children's theater, and it's not like we have to do triple pirouettes and, big kicks in the air and whatever. These kids are mega talented and they'll show you their tricks, but it was really nice to kind of start off on that playing field, and it definitely increased my awareness as a teacher and as a performer myself. So that was a really great opportunity. The other thing going along with doing something that scares you is that I've told myself for forever that I couldn't sing. But let me tell you something, being surrounded by 30 plus kiddos who can belt their lungs out, it was really inspiring, and I decided that it was time for me to cut the crap. I hope I can say that. To cut the crap and really work on it. So I found a voice teacher, and I just started taking voice lessons with her. And then when I came back to Nashville, I had continued taking voice lessons, and now I feel like I can call myself a singer. So that has been really eye-opening for me. The second thing I learned is that it's not just about the job. When you work in an apprenticeship, at least my experience, you're living, working, and playing with all of the same people. I met my absolute best friend through my apprenticeship, and honestly, I don't know how we lived without knowing each other. And I learned a lot about myself through that friendship and through other trials and tribulations during my time in Vero. And I think that I could not have asked for a better post-grad year. There's a lot of things that you have to work through being post-grad for the first time, especially making, minimal money. They provided housing, which was great, but there's really a lot you have to discover about yourself and about how you work and what you want, and not just related to theater. Your whole life. So I learned a lot about how to take care of myself emotionally, physically, and I think that's really made me into the person that I am right now. And it was hard and it was tough, and I was definitely put through the ringer a little bit, but I'm really thankful for the lessons I learned in my personal life during my time there, because I don't know, I feel like I've grown a lot, and I hope that for everybody who goes to a job post-grad, because it's a scary year, but you can definitely make it through it stronger and better than you ever thought you would be able to. So I hope you enjoy the journey, and if you have any other questions or want to know about my personal experience, please reach out, because I am very happy to share loads of stories with you. Thanks, guys.